So Palantir is up over 200% in the past year and up 47% in just 2024 alone. It has been a phenomenal run that has made us a lot of money because we ignored all the noise and the stupidity and just held the stock and added when it dipped when everybody else was panicking and going crazy. But there will be another huge move for Palantir this year, and unfortunately, it may not be what you expect, so we have to discuss that today. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype. And make sure you check out the pinned comment down there for my new channel where we talk about financial freedom and retiring early. It's the pinned comment down there. So I fully expect some massive moves from Palantir this year, and unfortunately, it's going to be dangerous for us as investors. And you need to be prepared for that danger, and that's exactly why we're offering free coaching for members of my group, and we're also offering one-on-one coaching as well. That all kind of comes together and goes along with the brand new, the completely new stock course that is out there, and it is 3 times larger than the last stock course that I had. And to celebrate the release of all this, I am running a sale right now for my group, so make sure you check out the pinned comment down there. We're not going to get into everything else you get with the group. Just check it out and see if a membership's right for you, because when this sale ends, that price is going back up. All right, so all this is basically dangerous for 2 huge reasons that you have to understand, so that way you can kind of understand what the danger is on this particular movement. Reason number 1, I can make an incredible bull case for Palantir. Look, here are facts with Palantir. They are clicking on all cylinders right now. The sales team is absolutely going like gangbusters, just like we expected them to. We didn't expect it in 3 months here on this channel. We expected it to take a full year, maybe a little bit more than a year, to get completely ramped up and rolling. And that's exactly what's happening right now with Palantir. But even more important than that, they have the solution that everybody wants. They have the experience that everybody wants. And they're not the new shiny object AI company. They have been around for over 20 years. So they have the experience, which is the most important piece, with all of this that everybody is wanting in regards to AI and being able to implement solutions for their businesses, both commercial and government. There's nobody out there that offers more in terms of a holistic solution than Palantir does. And to just kind of reiterate that further bullishness on Palantir and kind of the bull case for Palantir, Alex said they have more demand than they could possibly have for supply. And he said that on an earnings call. So this wasn't a CNBC interview. This wasn't just a newsletter they put out or whatever the case was, or any other interview he was on. He said it on an earnings call. And you don't make statements like that on an earnings call unless it is actually true. And that's actually the fact of what's going on. It's not hype. That's something you can hype different times. You don't hype up on earnings calls. We've all seen what happens when you do that as a CEO. He was saying it on an earnings call, and I fully believe that they absolutely have far more demand than they have supply to fill that demand, which are all huge bullish things for Palantir. Basically, they can grow as fast as they can make it happen. That's how fast they can grow. So there is huge growth ahead for Palantir. There's no doubt in anybody's mind, and there's not going to be a lag of that demand because there is no company out there. They basically got a 20-year head start on a lot of the competition that's out there. So to me, those are all significant bullish signs for the stock, but it also creates a danger as well. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Reason number 2, I can just as easily make a great bear case as well. Now remember, we're talking about stock price, guys. We're talking about the stock, not the company. We're talking about stocks here. And right now, AI is absolutely in a bubble when it comes to stocks in general. And you guys know from my last Palantir video, we are trading a little bit rich right now. We are actually kind of in that rich category, not crazy, not ridiculous or anything like that. We're definitely trading rich. And even when you look at the bullish of the bulls, Dan Ives, the guy that has the highest price target out there on Wall Street for Palantir, the price target's only $30. And that's his price target, a year from now, not today. And you see how close we are to it right now. The average out there is like 18 or so. And you guys know I don't care what analysts think anyways. But I look at the extreme bull case for Palantir out there, and even the extreme bull case, we're about to that right now, almost a year early. For more context, Palantir is about where I thought it was going to be at the end of the year. It's already there right now, and that happens when you have a virtually 50% run on the stock in the first 3 months of the year. A lot of the rest of the gains for the rest of the year can be taken out, and anything above that, well, we're kind of getting into that overhyped type territory. And of course, you can kind of see the danger right there with that. But both of those points in regards to that stock mean absolutely nothing because Wall Street does what Wall Street does. And we're trying to figure out, is there a massive move up or down in the stock price? Because to me, that's the question we really need to answer. It's not, is there a massive move coming? Because with a stock that is in a hot sector, has had a hot run, but also has a lot of great things in earnings to back it up, per se, you are primed for huge moves in the stock because it's not just one way. You're not only hyping and getting hype runs, you're also producing underneath to justify a lot of that hype. And so that makes for huge, massive moves in a stock. So does it explode up or does it crater down is really the question. So let's explore both, and more importantly, what to do when either one of those happen. And then I'll also tell you exactly what I think is going to happen as well. So why could we see a crater down and what do you do about it? Well, there's a lot of different things that could kind of trigger this. One, all the talk about, hey, March, the market's going to drop. Traditionally, it drops in March, or we're just in for a giant correction. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there, guys. I know that happens all the time, but point being, if those folks are actually right at this point in time, of course, that could create a drop down. But there's other things as well. I mean, inflation could actually start to creep back up or just stay stubbornly flat, which of course we all know that means the Fed is going to be less likely to roll over the rates. The same exact thing with GDP continuing to stay ridiculously strong, the job market continuing to stay ridiculously strong. All those sort of things factor into making the Fed not nearly as quick to cut rates as we want them to kind of continue this rally further. Delaying those rate cuts means that Wall Street is going to lose faith in the market and start to really cut stocks down. And more importantly, Wall Street's looking to take profits. When you have a 50% move in, the first quarter, first couple of months of the year, they're looking to take profits. They're looking for any excuse to take profits. The biggest movers are always the biggest fallers whenever they decide to take those profits. And it's hard to argue that Palantir wasn't one of the big movers here at the beginning of the year. So what exactly do you do in this scenario? Don't panic. I understand Palantir is now trading at basically where I thought it was going to be at the end of the year here, but there's no need to panic. I don't care if it falls down to under 20, under 18, whatever the number, if it happens, it ends up being there. Don't panic. It has nothing to do with Palantir itself. It is still on track to have a great year. It is still performing, more importantly, underneath on earnings. There's nothing that has changed with the stock if that happens. So for me, it may be a great time to kickstart that DCA again, get that thing rolling again. Now, I'll give you fair warning, all the idiots are going to be out there with the charts telling you Palantir's falling to here, and then it's going to fall to here, and they're going to throw up all their pretty charts and graphs and all other crap like that. We've seen that show time and time again with Palantir, and in the end, they always end up being wrong, and you end up screwing yourself. So just ignore all that, just DCA and move on. All right, so let's talk about the opposite, and that is Palantir continues exploding up. I mean, here's the point with this. NVIDIA's earnings, and of course Palantir's prior to that, but NVIDIA's earnings show that the hype is very real. And unlike the EV hype to where just, companies with a PowerPoint were just, 10x again in a couple of months and stuff like that, we're not seeing that sort of ridiculousness here with the AI stocks that are absolutely out there and crushing it quarter after quarter. Yes, we are seeing some ridiculousness out there on the edges, but the valuation for great AI stocks is not out of control yet. Now, it may get there, but right now it is not out of control yet. And just think back to that EV time. Hey, Tesla, the best of the best, was trading at a PE of over 1,000. We're not seeing that with the NVIDIAs and the Palantirs of the world yet. And so for me, we still have room for more of a run in regards to what traders are going to want to do with this stock. Other things working in their favor, the economy is still doing incredibly well. GDP print finally got finalized, 3.2. Anything above 2 is incredible. That right there is what we're seeing. Unemployment is still ridiculously low. And of course, we have Fed cuts on the horizon, which I think they're going to cut almost no matter what the data says, because we're coming into an election year. They don't want to be a story during the election year. They're going to give us a couple of cuts and move on with life and kind of move out of the way. So I think we're going to see all those things, which are huge catalysts for the stock market. And of course, keeping this rally going. And if all those metrics stay strong and we start to see inflation start to come down as well and continue kind of its march back down, boy, that's going to mean a massive move there in regards to stocks because it opens up all the possibilities and everything's falling perfectly for this move to continue. So if the stock continues to move up, I would start getting really, really, really cautious as it starts to approach that $30 mark and get up over that. I mean, if that's the most bullish price target that's out there by the most bullish analysts out there on Palantir, and that's a year from now, that right there kind of tells you something. So in that particular scenario, if we get a massive move up further, you guys know I'm not a trader, so I'm not interested in trading. All the idiots that were trading and told you to get out at 9 because it's guaranteed to go back down to 7, and then you were up over 15, like just a month or so later. I'm not playing any of those sorts of games. It could very well run well up over 30 before you do that. So you could cut, you cut out at, I don't know, 28, 29, 30 or something like that. And you could easily run up 35. Who knows? I just know I'm not trading this stock because I'm not a trader. I'm a long-term buy and hold investor, which means I'm not really going to look to buy any Palantir either. I'm going to look elsewhere. I mean, the market right now seems to want nothing to do with Google. It's dead again for, I don't know, like the third time in the past couple of years. We were able to buy Google back in the 80s last time Wall Street got done with it. So, hey, I'm kind of focusing my attention on stocks like that, for example, to kind of move my attention there until Palantir comes back down to a more reasonable valuation. And remember, that can happen two different ways. It can either happen because the price falls or earnings catch up to that higher price. So there's no guarantee that it gets up over 30 and then it just falls all the way back down to 20. There's no guarantee that that happens. So what do I think is going to happen? I think we see the run continue in the short term, but it is running on fumes. Now, it doesn't mean more rocket fuel can't be added, but we need something new coming out here to add rocket fuel to that particular deal. So I think we're seeing the rocket fuel basically kind of start to burn out here. We're getting on fumes, and then we're going to see it correct back down to more, and that's where the move is going to come back down to more of a reasonable valuation. Because to me, once we see one of these things happen, either earnings aren't ridiculously good, blow it out of the water. I mean, Wall Street was primed to take profits this time around too on all the AI stuff, and they didn't because Nvidia's earnings were blowout this time around. So if we don't see that next quarter, or inflation comes in a little bit hot, or if just Wall Street is looking to book profits this quarter, that's going to happen here in March. And guess what? They want to be able to show clients, hey, look, we made a lot of money. We timed the top, well, whatever crap they're going to try to sell their clients that get screwed whenever they underperform a simple index fund. But nonetheless, we could very well see any of those sort of things happen, and we're going to see the price come back down. We have seen the price come up already, massive move up of almost 50%. So thinking we're going to see a continuing move of an additional 50% or more up to, $30, $35 or so seems a lot less likely than seeing a move back down under $20. So that, to me, that right there is kind of where I see it happening. But either way, stick to your plan. I gave you what to do if it runs up or if it craters down. That's all you have to do, because I'm not caring about what Wall Street does with it right now. I don't care what the traders do with it right now. I care about long-term, just adding shares to Palantir when the valuation makes sense, because it's a great company. And over the long term, I'm going to make a lot of, we've already made a lot of money on it. We're going to make a lot more money over the future, as long as we stay away from all the hype and all the BS and all the fear whenever that inevitably comes to. And remember, if you want to be a part of our coaching sessions, if you want to take our brand new course that's just launched, and be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, have direct access to me anytime you want, be able to slide out DMs, jump on the live Q&As, and there's even more coming to the group that is not announced yet. Just make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and see if a membership's right for you before this sale ends and that price goes back up. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.